else have anything to add?
I think that I have to say, like, the one comment, it was a long time ago, and I don't know if you'll remember, but you're like, you know what you have to have in this business, and it's grit. Yeah. And I've always thought that you had that grit and just the willingness to put in the time and grind and make it work. And that's what I've always admired about you. So I'm so glad that you're back in the business.
I have to say, it's wonderful. It's such a great environment, and we have such a wonderful market here. I'm very excited. We were talking about this earlier. For us to be able to get back in a room together and, learn and grow a little bit more. Mm-hmm. We're kind of getting through this right now. This is an industry where people are connected, mm-hmm. and even if we don't know each other personally, we know of each other. Or, I've always had a lot of respect for all of you, as well as just many of the companies that are thriving in this region. Mm-hmm. Started out really small. We every single one of us started out as the receptionist, or
receptionist.
I say watch out for the women.
Yeah,
I really do. Yeah, I really do.
I love that. I say it too. Now, we've been pretty heavy on this side, so let's jump to the other side of the room. Yesenia, you're up next. The question I have for you is, you've only been in the business for 4 years. 4 years I'm sorry?
That's right.
4 years she's been in the business, and she went from assistant to loan officer, and now she's already a branch manager for a very successful, high-producing mortgage branch in Seattle, Washington. Anytime you grow that fast, you're going to experience hurdles. There's going to be growing pains. Talk to us a little bit about some of the struggles, some of the hurdles that you had to overcome in order to sort of sprint to where you're at.
Well, I don't know, how much time do we have? I have a long list. If you haven't noticed, I do have an accent. I am an immigrant, so when I can think of 3 hurdles, huge ones. So when I came into the U.S., eventually I found myself working at a farm, picking cherries, and that was a rough job for a 13-year-old. And I decided I was gonna work through my focus in education, get a degree, and that would get me to my American dream. Okay. And little did I know that was not going to take me out of the way. But it just gave me that push. Okay. So that was my huge aha moment growing up. I need to work hard, then you do the work, you get the degree, and then shoot, I don't have a work permit.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was devastated because I couldn't land any of the jobs that were being offered to me.
Sure.
I graduated from UW, and that degree wasn't any good for me at that time.
Wow.
So I decided to start a business eventually, and I was successful at it, and I was pretty happy. I figured out the whole immigration thing got figured out, had my green card, blah, blah, blah. Then the next step is getting a home.
Yeah.
And guess what? I go to a loan officer, and they turn me down. But they don't explain why. And then I go to another, I prepare myself, I do some research, prepare myself. I watch my first home being built. It takes about 5 to 7 months, depending on the construction company. And 3 weeks before it's done, I'm denied.
What?
When I was approved, 3 weeks before, I'm denied.
Wow.
I was discriminated, and that's the moment. And I had a successful business at that time. Yes, I have an accent, but my English is not so bad. I have an education, yada yada. I'm successful, and I'm being denied by the loan company, but this mortgage company. And I did some research online that weekend, found a way to make it work. And I told myself, this is not so difficult.
Yeah.
I can. I got myself another loan officer, closed the loan in 2 weeks.
Wow.
So clearly, I was just discriminated, and I thought I was going to. I told myself that day I'm going to become a loan officer.
Okay.
2 years later, because I was super comfortable with my business,
Sure.
eventually I became a loan officer, and oh my God, that was the biggest biggest obstacle that I've had in the last few years. You need to be with the people. You need to find people that you want to grow that you want to become like them. That you want to that you can see yourself in their shoes in the future, not just what they have, but what they become, what they believe, and that they have the time for you as well.
Yes.
Sometimes people mean well, but they don't have the time.
Right.
And it took me a while to get to where I am today.
Okay.
But I had to fight my way through. I did start as a loan assistant. Actually, was quote unquote loan assistant, but mostly like a receptionist.
Okay.
Just taking calls, and it just, I really had to fight my way through to become a loan officer, just a junior loan officer. I wasn't being allowed, because I was probably a better fit for that team as a loan assistant. But years before, I told myself I'm going to become a loan officer because there's people like me that need a loan, they need a home, and then those are the biggest hurdles of my life.
Yeah.
But it's just when one door closes, you find another one that will open, and you don't take no for an answer.
Awesome. I love that. So the question I would have on top of that would be, do you think that perhaps the main reason why you move so quickly is that you had to go through those challenges and you had to sort of approach the situation sort of outside the box, which made you more capable, which made you hungrier, and perhaps even better understand the loan process and ultimately how to climb that ladder even quicker?
Every time, going back to what Ali mentioned earlier, we have to have a person, most loan officers have a certain trait, and I'm very competitive. And when you were talking, Ali, how you pick the right people to be in the right office, I was lucky enough to be across from your office when you were I believe you weren't.
We worked together. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, she wasn't the branch manager yet. She was a high successful loan officer with the team, and I would hear everything because my cubicle was right across, and everything they would say out loud, I would be a sponge listening to everything, because I was there to become a loan officer, and the loan officer was doing XYZ, and I would pick up a few things here and there. And every time I was told a no, I would find a way to make it a yes. I was told once that if I left the team I was with, that I would fall flat and I would become nothing.
Oh, wow.
And that was hurtful for a second.
Right, and then it was a driver.
But then it drove me to have the job that I had, loan assistant, but to also be selling.
Wow.
So I was doing, so that was one team telling me that I wasn't gonna make it. Someone else in the team told me, what else did they tell me? Like I told you, I have a long list of no's.
Yeah.
And I just wouldn't take it because my drive was, I'm gonna become a loan officer. I'm gonna help hundreds and hundreds of people get a home. And that's very fulfilling because making money is just not enough. I had a business, I was making good money. It's just not enough.
I love that.
You wanna help people. Well, at least maybe the two together.
Yeah. That's fantastic, because what I'm hearing was it wasn't just financial gain you were seeking. Like, you had a mission. And that's what drove you to go even further. Did you think that you'd be where you're at in 4 years?
I started with New American Funding a year ago. Actually, I lied. 3 months. I only have with them 9 months.
Okay.
If you asked me a year ago, would I had known that I would be where I am today? I would say no.
Okay.
I know what the end is,
and
it was to become very successful and to be at the top of my game. And I feel that there's so much more potential.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know that I would be able to get there faster, as quick as I have.
Okay.
But also, I'm not putting in 5 hours a day or 8. Since I started, I put the gas. How did they say in English?
Foot on the gas.
Foot on the gas. And I haven't let go.
Okay.
And I'm just going as fast as I can because I love what I do.
Yeah.
I love helping people.
Yeah.
And it's the time of year, right? Why not?
I like it. That's why they're here. Ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Do you guys have any questions?
Well, I do,
Okay.
because I watched your journey. and it's been a fun journey to watch. And you did it in such a short period of time, what takes people their whole career to go from start all the way to branch manager. And so, one, kudos to you. That's very impressive. I want to know what's next.
Yeah.
So you're doing this, you've already made all these strides in 4 years. Have you thought about what this next maybe 5-year vision or what you want to achieve in your career? Because I know you can do it. I'm just curious what to watch out for.
And it's just interesting that you asked, because I had been asking myself that, because money is not always my only driver, in being on the top. So right now I'm talking to nurturing a couple of people in the newly grads that are from the rural area where I grew up, that they know that they cannot see themselves successful just because of where they grew up. So I want to inspire and help those people become, if they not become what I've become, but to be able to achieve success. And I've been starting to volunteer time, at least to just mentor, and hopefully to get more people in the industry, especially people who are from rural areas, from Washington State, and that maybe look like a little bit like me, that grew up in the tiny town of Mattawa, Washington.
That's awesome.
There's not any loan officers out there. So.
Paying it forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Your story inspires me so much, and it also tells a tale about why women are so successful in this industry, because it's kind of an old school way to approach leadership, to tell somebody that they can't do something. Whereas I feel like women just naturally are more nurturing, and we listen and hear something beyond what the other person, is doing right then. And so, had from earlier in your career, somebody had said, you can't, what is it that you want to do? And let's find a path forward for you to do that. And I think that's happening a lot. I'm guessing it's happening at a very high level in your branch with all the women that are succeeding, and it's very inspiring. So I'm glad that you're paying it forward.
Yeah, totally inspiring. I love everything that you said. And no, we need more future women. We definitely do. So
I'm glad you're mentioning
Amazing.
that your branch is now doing more training, because that was the biggest hurdle for me. Also, going into the industry, there's not a lot of training in this industry in general.
Right.
And it sounds like you guys are going that route, and I'm doing it in my branch as well with new people. So
Because we learned, we were thrown in.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
here's your desk, here's your phone, here's your computer. Now do it. And you're like fending for yourself. And so you and I learned firsthand what that was like. So for me, it was like, we have to change this. We have to go and actually teach someone and educate. And we were talking before all of this about you mentoring. And so I didn't realize you were taking it to this level, which is impressive. So thank you for doing that and giving back. Thank you.
So I have to say that I'm so inspired by what you've shared with us today. And it's obvious because I've never met you. And today, well, actually, I take that back. We did meet, but it's been so long and I haven't gotten to see you in a long time. But just meeting you again today and hearing your story and your backstory about everything, there's a massive common denominator in this group of women that is sitting here today. And it's that we are all passionate. And I think that is the best thing that we can have in this industry, because passion and drive mixed together is a force to be reckoned with. And anyone on this panel is a force to be reckoned with. So I just have to say thank you for sharing your story, because it struck something in me and I was like, wow, amazing. Yeah.
And I've always saw your advertisement or your calendars, your famous calendars, but I don't think we ever actually talked. And seeing you in this event, it's just, you all are amazing women. I know I only had met you actually, and it was great being part of that office and the atmosphere, because I did learn from you. And then now having the opportunity to see you live, not just on the calendar, I'm like, why didn't I ever work with her? It's just, I'm happy we're here because we're connecting and we're actually seeing the energy and the passion that we have for what we do. So thank you all for being here.
Awesome. Thank you. Anne Marie, you're up next. So your recruiting and management career spans over 25 years, and you've been recruiting exclusively within the mortgage industry since 2006. You've also had a unique experience in being an internal production headhunter for national companies. The question I have for you is this, is there a secret formula for matching the right talent with the right opportunity? And if there is, what is it?
I was really thinking about this a lot. You know, what is my secret? And I really don't have a secret. Okay. I mean, I really don't. I mean, the number one thing for me is that I have to believe in the leadership team in the company that I work for. And it's that passion. You know, I need to believe in them because I am not matching people to a job. I'm matching people to culture and to leadership and to a platform. And I've always, you know, I've recruited for many years, and like I said, in the industry since 2006. And to me, it's building a relationship. You need to get to know that candidate. Number one, you need to know the people that you're recruiting to. Right. You need to know their passion. I mean, I support, an amazing divisional. I support 2 great regionals. I have 23 branch managers that I support. They're all great, but they're all different. They all have a different environment in their branch. Like, Allie shared the story of her branch. I love working with Allie, and I bring people to her branch because she's a passionate leader who cares about her people. And that's important to me. But I also have branches where it's a little more casual. You don't need to feel that pressure. It's, different environments. So to me, I just truly match talent with where they belong. And the only way that you can match talent is you got to get to know those people. Sure. So I ask questions. I don't call and say, number one, I know ahead of time because I can pull those numbers, but I don't call and say, well, what are you closing? Or anything like that. I ask them, what's important to you? Thanks for responding to my call, my text, however I've reached out. But I ask them what's important to them first. And the other thing, and Rosemary David was here earlier today, and I actually learned how to mortgage recruit from Rosemary.
Yeah, you said that. That's awesome.
My first position in the industry was with First Horizon, working for Rosemary and Kurt Alteague. And, I learned from 2 of the best. And Rosemary told me at that time, she said, recruiting takes time. It can take you 5 years, 8 years, 10 years to get a candidate that you truly want. And that stuck with me. And, I've been doing it for 14 years now, but I love what I do. And, I've worked with some great companies. I worked with a headhunting firm for 7 years, and I knew that I wanted to be at Caliber. Wow. Approached Brady about 2.5 years ago, and I said, I've been recruiting for you externally. I want to work for you. He said, I want you to work for me. And, I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be now.
That's amazing.
But I love sitting in this room right now and listening to this other talent. And, I consider Kelsey a friend. And, I've known, both Tanya and Allie for a long time. And it's an honor to meet you here. But, yeah, it's not a secret. It's just not. You got to do the right thing. You got to be honest. I think the other thing with recruiting is that if Caliber is not the right fit, well, maybe New American's the right fit. Maybe Homebridge is the right fit. And I think it's doing the right thing where you actually make that introduction. I like that. And I do that. I do that with people. I've referred to one of your managers before that I love. I won't say his name, but he's one of my favorite people. And yeah, I sent people to him. Mm-hmm. So I think it is doing the right thing and taking care of people and all of that.
100%. I've only known you for a short while, but you're definitely passionate, and I'd say that you're an incredible connector. We connected through social media, and then we had a wonderful conversation. I knew that me and you would be friends from the moment that we jumped on the phone. But the thing that you did right out of the gate was, you said, Jeremy, love your show. Show's great, but you need some powerful women on the show. So honestly, she deserves the credit for this whole thing coming together. And I said, yeah, you know what? I do have a few people in mind. And immediately what came to mind was Tanya and Kelsey. And then you mentioned Rosemary and Allie. And so I would say that's your secret, is that you fill people out, you have a sense of their personality, you have a sense of what they're looking to accomplish in their career and their business and in life in general, and then you're able to quickly make those connections. And you weren't pushy about it. You were just like, I think you should reach out to these people. And it wound up being a great connection. So if there's anything, I would say that you have a real understanding of people and you take the time to understand the opportunity, and it just works.
I love it, you know, and I'll do my plug here. I think we all need to get active in our industry. You know, I think as I shared with you, I'm a past president, I'm the PAC co-chair, very involved with the Washington Mortgage Bankers Association, as are all of these ladies. And we need to take action, and we need to get involved. And, you know, that's another passion of mine, is that we need to support our industry. And our industry needs more women as leadership rising up the board and those types of things. So that's my other big passion, is that we support our industry, and I want more women on that board, and I've been pushing it. So
There you go. Questions, anyone?
I have to say that the first time I ever met you, I've always looked up to you. So thank you so much. And it never struck me as different until you said to me one day when I invited you over for, I think we were having like it was just a wine and cheese kind of a night at my house. And you're like, I didn't know that you wanted me to meet your friends. I'm like, you are my friend. And it was just so cute because I always looked up to you and I was like, but you're my friend.
Right.
I look up to you.
see, and I always looked at Kelsey as this very glamorous, very, very amazing, very warm person, but so glamorous. And I go to this get together at her house, and I'm looking around, and there are no other mortgage people there.
No?
None. And I remember I got home that night, and I said to my daughter, "Wow, I really felt honored to be part of in Kelsey's home."
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
That's wonderful.
But that's because of who you are.
Yeah.
And you're a connector with so many people, but you do everything from your heart.
Yep.
And because you do that, I think you just attract good people around you.
I have to agree with that.
Yes. And you are glamorous too.
Oh. Well, everyone here and everyone watching might want to actually sneak up on me at home when I've got my paint sweats on that my husband so desperately wants to burn.
I just wanted to make one comment about what you were saying, is that for some of us, we've been in the industry for 20, 21 years. And the lesson for those that are new is that you will come across a lot of people in your career, and you'll meet many people in the company that you're at right now. And yet in the mortgage industry and the real estate industry, there's a lot of transition. People, typically will move companies in a 20-year span a few times, including leaders. You might go into different industries. I was in real estate and mortgage. You might be at different companies. And so by being somebody that has a reputation, and that's really important, that you uphold the reputation and the person that you are, no matter where you're going. Because if you're somebody that can't do that, you're not going to last.
No. And I think the other key to recruiting, and I know that you recruit this way too, so I can say this, I will never talk negatively about another mortgage company, ever. And I recently lost a candidate, one of my regionals, and I did. It was between us and another company. And she said to me, I need you to tell me the negative about that company. And I said, I'm not going to do that. That's not ethical, and I'm not going to do it. Scott and I have shared with you why we want you to join us, all the great things about Caliber. She says, well, they've told me a lot of things about you guys that's not great. And I said, I'm not going to tell you negative things. She did go to that company.
Nobody knows what goes on behind closed doors, so that is a good way to do business, because unless you've been there working behind the scenes, you're really just saying things and trying to recruit people by detracting them from something else, as opposed to attracting them to what you have.
There you go.
Right.
And it's not always going to be a great fit. It's not.
It's
And
not.
what would you advise for a new and up and coming loan officer when there's some companies, some mortgage companies that recruit with not necessarily saying all the truth, and they promise, they over promise, and they don't deliver? How can these loan officers? What advice would you have for them?
Oh gosh.
Get it in writing.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. They definitely need to get it in writing. But I think a great thing for somebody to do when if they don't know a great deal about a company, is to actually call loan officers that work for that company. Don't ask the recruiter or don't ask the manager that's recruiting you, but just pull up their website and start calling. Call 2 or 3 different loan officers at that company and just ask, can you tell me what it's like working there?
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Well, this has been absolutely amazing. This is everything I thought it would be. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you.
It's Friday night. You guys can be
It's been
doing
an
other
honor.
things.
This has
Thank you.
been incredible.
Awesome.
And what an amazing listing.
Yeah, incredible listing.
I was going to say thanks to Melissa.
Thanks, Melissa.
Yeah, she's actually right over there. This place is
crystal
amazing.
chandeliers.
Yeah, there's 21 chandeliers in this place, 5 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms, 21 chandeliers, if I haven't said that.
Staircases.
Yeah, marble floors galore.
Yeah, how much marble? That's
Yeah.
that was my
Yeah.
first response. Like
Right.
the entrance is marble, the floors are marble, like there's marble everywhere. How much marble was used
Yeah.
to build this house?
Yeah, it's incredible.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah. More parties need to be in this house. Like, this is like just the beginning. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, and make sure to pop back and see us next week. Thank you.